Hi there, this is Becerro. In this video, where we're going to see the things we need to know about Raspberry Pi. But first, hit the subscribe and bell button to be notified. What is Raspberry Pi? The Raspberry Pi is a popular credit card-sized computer which is not only popular for its size and price, but also works really well. We can buy a Raspberry Pi for only $25 to $35 and almost use it as a fully functional computer with the use of Linux operating system. Why Raspberry Pi is the name of Raspberry Pi? Raspberry is a reference to a fruit naming tradition in the old days of microcomputers. And a Pi because we are going to produce a computer that can only run in Python programming language. Why Raspberry Pi is created? The idea of Raspberry Pi came up when the decline in numbers of skilled students applying for computer science became a concern for the team that includes Alan McGraw, Rob Mullins, Jack Lang, and Evan Upton in the University of Cambridge Computer Laboratory in 2006. A need for a tiny and affordable computer came to their minds to cater the concern. Raspberry Pi is intended for students learning, especially in the developing countries, to do cool stuff with a cheap computer, and to make students enthusiasts in doing such things. Now for the history. The first prototype of Raspberry Pi is developed in year 2006. In 2008, the team started a collaboration with Pet Lomas, MD of Narca Technologies, David Braven, the co-author of seminal BBC microgame Elite, and they formed the Raspberry Pi Foundation. 3 years later, the Raspberry Pi Model B was launched, and it had sold over 2 million units within 2 years of mass production. While the $35 Raspberry Pi has redefined our idea of a cheap computer is, the path to the creating of the board certainly wasn't easy. It took more than 6 years. Here are the versions of Raspberry Pi from the moment it launched up to the latest version. First, the Raspberry Pi B, the Raspberry Pi A+, the Raspberry Pi 2, the Raspberry Pi Zero, the Raspberry Pi 3, the Raspberry Pi W, the Raspberry Pi WH, the Raspberry Pi B+, the Raspberry Pi Model A+, and lastly, the current version, the Raspberry Pi 4. Now let's tackle about the components of a Raspberry Pi. The current generation of Raspberry Pi components are as follows. It has 1.2 GHz of ARM processor with integrated of 1 GB random access memory, one HDMI port for digital audio and video output, one 3.5 jack that can cater audio input and output, 4 USB 2.0 ports for connecting input device and other peripheral add-ons including keyboards, mouse, camera, printer, and many more, one microSD card for loading the operating system, one Ethernet LAN port, a wired Ethernet, one integrated Wi-Fi or Bluetooth radio antenna, wireless Ethernet, and wireless data transfer including mirroring of Raspberry Pi to a computer device, one micro USB port for the power supply of the Raspberry Pi, and lastly, the GPIO or the General Purpose Input-Output Interface for connecting the electrical components. Electrical components including the resistor, capacitor, transistor, LED, buzzer, button, switch, and many electrical components to be used. We can do almost anything with Raspberry Pi, including home automation, embedded system for car, manufacturing for industrial use, robotics, microcontrol for drones to be instance, weather forecasting, and many other cool stuffs. Now for the technicalities. Since it is a Python programming language, it is easy to program because the syntax of Python is not that tricky, just like any other computer programming language, such as C++ and Java. It has predefined modules or libraries to call. You will not hard-code it personally, you just call the function and give its parameter values. In short, in developing a system with Raspberry Pi, we can do it frequently and efficiently, and the syntax are available and accessible over the internet. So with that being said, let's do some exploration and develop cool stuffs. Thanks for watching, guys.